Welcome to CEO Insights. I'm Marilyn de Guzman with investingnews.com. I'm speaking with David Regan, CEO of Sona Nanotech, which has been developing promising cancer therapies using biocompatible gold nanorods. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Marilyn. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with you.
Yes, it's good to have you. I want to talk about some recent news that you've put out, and that has to do with the efficacy study that you've been conducting with Dalhousie University. Could you talk about some of the highlights of that study and some of the notable outcomes?
Sure. Well, we seem to have stumbled on something really interesting here. And we went into this study with a simple hypothesis that our targeted hyperthermia therapy for cancer would shrink cells, tumors from the inside out, which in fact we did in that study. But we found something more interesting along the way, because in one of the arms of the study, as they say, we combined our therapy with a standard immunotherapy that's administered to patients currently with an interleukin-2, it's called. And what we saw from that combination was a profound impact on the tumor that caused an immediate and compelling near elimination of the tumor. We went in hoping that you'd have an additive effect of combining two therapies together. So if immunotherapy gives you a sort of a level of 1, we try and get up to a 1.5, something like that. Well, of course, what we've seen is we effectively took it to a 2.5 to 3, a true synergistic effect, making this an extraordinarily interesting development for the company.
That's great to hear. So what are the next steps after that those results were released?
Well, so there are two streams of next steps. One on the academic front with the study itself. We've now completed the first phase, which was in triple negative breast cancer. And so now it's on to melanoma and colorectal cancer, and then on to peer review and publishing. Now on the commercial side, not just the academic study, but on the commercial side, we've now got our work cut out for us. We've been consulting with regulators, and we've gotten great guidance from senior physicians in the U.S. We're very fortunate to have a panel of folks that include the surgeons from Harvard and Mass Gen and Rockefeller Cancer Center in Nashville, who have all guided us in what we have to do next, the studies that we need to put together to show to regulators so that we can get this therapy into humans and see how much of a positive impact we can really create to those who need it most.
So are those happening in conjunction then? So you've mentioned you're doing other cancer therapies, studies with other types of cancer and this commercialization. So is that happening in conjunction?
Those are in tandem, in fact, and these results have been so promising that we've seen we're blasting ahead with as they call it, the preclinical trial process. And those preclinical studies cover 3 areas. There's, of course, safety, which is the paramount concern of the regulators. There's also biocompatibility studies that need to be done, and there are further efficacy studies that need to be done as well. This study we've done has been in a triple negative breast cancer model in mice, and of course, triple negative is the worst kind. We at our practice going forward is to go to the worst cancers where nothing else has worked and try and create an impact there. And if we can have an impact there, we prove ourselves out in the toughest cases. That's where people need it most too.
So maybe this is a good time to sort of to talk about the underlying technology that seems to be working here. So could you talk a little bit more about Sona's technology, your unique technology and how is it different or unique from other cancer therapies?
Sure, Marilyn. It's a therapy that's an elegant therapy. It's an elegant solution, we believe, and it relies on 2 devices. The first device, and of course the name of the company is Sona Nanotech, is our proprietary gold nanorods. And they're very small, near atomic scale pieces of inert gold, which of course are tolerated in the body well, which we've known for centuries. Those are inserted intratumorally, right into the tumor. We then apply a near-infrared light to the tumor. Think of a laser pointer, effectively, a stronger laser pointer that passes non-thermal energy, light energy, in through the tissue. When they hit the gold nanorods act as little tuning forks. Think of them that way. And so if that light energy is tuned to the right wavelength, 850 nanometers, the same wavelength as the gold nanorods, they vibrate, and that vibration creates heat. And of course, heat kills cancer. Now, what's even more interesting about this is that, cancer cells are more susceptible to heat than healthy cells. So when we control that heat level in the 45-degree range Celsius, we can kill selectively the cancer cells without harming the healthy tissue. And that's the goal here is, have a therapy that's gently destroying tumors from the inside out without cutting, without burning, and without poisoning, of course, as they refer to the standard therapies that have been done in the past.
So you started your study with breast cancer. Is there a particular reason why you started with that? And talk about, you've mentioned this earlier, but maybe you can elaborate, talk about the other cancers, that types of cancers that you're looking at.
Sure. Well, we started with triple negative breast cancer. It was the first one implanted in the mice, and we've established that it works there. And now it's on to colorectal cancer and the melanoma cancer. No particular reason for that one first, but what is interesting, I should point out, is each of these mice have two tumors in them. We treat one of the tumors, we don't treat the other tumor. And so that you can see a comparison of what happens. Now, the fascinating thing that we've seen in this study is not just that the treated tumor shrinks, but that you're getting shrinkage in the untreated tumor. And the theory behind that is that we're, gently destroying the cancer cells through a process called apoptosis. And that enables almost an orderly breakdown on a cellular level that generates new antigens are expressed. And those new antigens, we believe, are triggering a systemic effect. And that's what the second phase in our most recent news came out saying it's not just a local to this tumor effect, but it's changing the adaptive immune system of the animal, effectively serving as a vaccine.
So you mentioned earlier, when you're doing the efficacy study, you're combining it with, existing immunotherapy drugs. So it appears to work better with, these types of this immunotherapy drugs like Merck's Keytruda. Why is that?
So immunotherapy has been the big push in cancer care in the last 10 to 15 years. And those immunotherapies, what they're doing is they're helping your body to fight cancer on its own, because of course your body thinks of the cancer as itself and so won't attack it. And those immunotherapies have, in some cases, shown extraordinarily good results. Unfortunately, they only work about 20% of the time, depending on the type of cancer. So what we've seen in our study is that our therapy helps them to work better. And they do that through that process of apoptosis I mentioned, where we go in, we implant our gold nanorods in the tumor, we heat them up, we destroy the cancer cells, and the cancer cells reveal neoantigens, new antigens. And the theory is that those immunotherapies, in the cases when they don't work, it's because there isn't a strong enough immunogenic environment in the tumor. So when you mentioned Keytruda, so it's the largest drug in the world, biggest selling drug in the world, $25 billion a year, and yet it only works some of the time. If we can just have an impact by raising the instances in which there's a response rate from something like a Keytruda, it can have an extraordinary effect for patients, wherever they might be.
Very exciting outcome so far in your studies, and looking forward to hear more about, the studies that you're going to be doing. Very important studies as well. Thank you, David, for joining me and sharing your news with me today.
Thank you, Mary Lynn. We've got a driven team. We've got a tremendously strong and supportive board, and we believe we can do this. And we think we're going to give it a hell of a shot at it, because the results we've seen so far, while early stage, are so promising that we have no choice.
Great. Good luck on future works.
Thank you, Mary Lynn.
And thanks everyone for watching. Join us again next time for another edition of CEO Insights. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates and interviews. See you next time.